They've been called the most important awards in sports, the annual Musical Awards, celebrating sportsmanship. They were scheduled for this coming weekend at the Stiefel Theater. The pandemic canceled the live show, but the awards will still be handed out. We traveled to Indiana to meet one of the winners. Home isn't always the place you live. Sometimes it's the place you love. That's how Josh Speidel feels about Memorial Gymnasium in Columbus, Indiana.
This was Josh's home for 4 years.
Growing up, Josh was as much a fixture here as the hoops and the grandstands. But no one could have guessed how long the road would be to get back here. As a standout forward at Columbus North High School, the 6'7" Speidel was one of the top basketball players in the state.
I think it was 8th grade I got my first Division I offer.
Josh got offers from just about everywhere, and then surprised just about everyone when he accepted a scholarship from the mid-major University of Vermont.
You know, he just felt at home, I guess, and saw his role and his potential, and yeah, we were really fortunate to get him.
But on February 1st, 2015, in the middle of a senior year in high school, everything changed. One night, after scoring 33 points with 18 rebounds, the phone rang at his parents' house.
And they said, we need you to get to the emergency room. We need you to get here as soon as possible.
Josh had been in a terrible accident. He mistakenly pulled out of a fast food restaurant when a sport utility vehicle slammed into his Honda Accord. No one else was seriously hurt, but Josh had a traumatic brain injury.
I remember walking into the emergency room bay, and I remember people looking at me like feeling sorry for us and shaking their head.
Doctors weren't sure he'd survive, but he woke up after spending 4 weeks in a coma.
And for the longest time I was always asked, is this a dream?
He couldn't talk, walk, or use his left arm. But his recovery was not about perfection, it was about progression. And every day he'd get a little better.
And we celebrated the small things.
Every little thing.
He'd do something, I'd go, man, you couldn't do that yesterday.
Through it all, the Vermont players and coaches stuck by Josh. And just 8 months after the accident, he was strong enough to make it to a Vermont game when they played at Purdue. A few months later, he enrolled in school, and the standing ovations continued. Only this time, they were coming silently from his teammates.
Whenever you see him, you can't really take any day for granted because, you never know what's going to happen, so you kind of want to cherish every moment.
Getting back on the court became Josh Speidel's therapy, but it was not likely to happen. Until last March, when Coach Becker and Josh's teammates hatched a plan to get him into a game and the box score.
I wanted to make sure that all the hard work paid off in some way.
Vermont, it's time for America East basketball.
It would happen on senior night, so Coach Becker reached out to Coach Will Brown of Albany, their opponent, to see if he'd think about letting Josh get an uncontested layup.
I said, John, I don't need to think about this. I said, let's do it.
A very special senior day here in Burlington.
In sports, even great games are sometimes hard to remember, but few at Patrick Gymnasium will ever forget this night.
Fans were so into it, and there was a great buzz in the building.
And we're underway.
5 years after his terrible setback, Josh Speidel made his comeback.
Everybody gets a touch, and here's Josh Speidel.
Be out here and say I scored my first collegiate basketball points, can't put into words like what that means to me.
In my 20 years at Albany, I've never been so excited for an opponent to score against us.
for the world to see Josh make that layup. We hope that it was that reminder that no matter what life faces, surround yourself with people that love you, work hard, and know that God has a bigger plan.
Josh Speidel showing us all that success is no accident.